And it's like, why is this person not interesting? It's like, I don't know. Her stories are boring and stuff. Like, whatever.
It also sounds like maybe he wasn't interested in writing the song either. And I'm surprised the rest of the band wasn't like, hey, man, you want to finish that lyric? And he's like, nah, it's done.
Stuff.
It's fine. Yeah, and stuff. Well, you get the idea.
Yeah.
And they're like, that's not very, it doesn't really paint a picture. And he's like,
her stories, they're boring.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to the Lyric Boys podcast. I am Lucian Flores, and with me, as always, is Andrew Stieglitz. Andrew, say, hey, what's up?
I'm not going to do what you tell me to do, ever. So I will not say, hey, what's up, content hounds?
Content hounds at home, thank you for checking in and listening to the Lyric Boys podcast. If you've never listened to this podcast before, it is a podcast where we take one of our favorite bands or musicians and we pick 10 of their lyrics. We take their craziest, zaniest, most funny, most absurd, most insane lyrics and we talk about it. And we don't really analyze them in a way that someone with a really smart brain would do. We just kind of use them as a jumping off point for jokes and stories and what have you. But hey, sometimes
we do not have really smart brains. Our brains are not really smart.
Andrew, the audience at home, will they learn something?
No.
They might. They might. Just give them that. They need hope in
I'll
these
tell you
dark
what,
times.
If you have more brain cells in your head than the collective 2.5 that we have, you'll learn something.
Amazing. On this episode, we are talking about Interpol. And I'm not talking the International Criminal Police Organization. Oh, no. I am talking the band Interpol.
Shit. I need to look. I thought you were talking about the police organization. Fuck. All right.
It's a curveball.
Well, let's just keep going.
So, Andrew, do you know who Interpol is? Do you want me to tell you who they are?
Please do.
All right, audience at home, if you don't know who Interpol is, they are a band that Wikipedia describes as post-punk revival and indie rock. Wow, what an illuminating genre. So Interpol was formed in 97 in New York City, baby. And they were one of those bands that really got their start in the early 2000s, like in New York City, along with the Strokes and like the Yeah Yeah Yeahs. And they were just like one of the biggest New York City bands at that time when New York City was like an epicenter for like revival of rock and indie rock. So their first album was Turn on the Bright Lights in 2002, and that's like objectively their biggest album, and it was huge. Pitchfork said it was their top album of 2002. It was NME's number 10 album of 2002. I'm sure there's other lists that have it higher and or lower, but it was a big deal, and it just was like, it was a big deal in that early 2000s New York rock scene. Since then, they've put out, 5 more albums, with the most recent being Marauder, coming out in 2018. And yeah, they kind of have this, Wikipedia says their sound is comparable to like a Joy Division, Television, or the Chameleons. I think Interpol is known for like kind of muted, bassy, rhythmic songs that have this kind of darkness to them in some way. They are a band that has a little dark edge to them, I believe. And
sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know them somewhat. I really love that first album, and I do like a lot of songs from their discography, but I don't know them so amazingly. They're not a band I know like every single song and can have stories about. What about you?
Yeah, same. You actually introduced them to me for this podcast because I didn't really know. I mean, I knew who they were in name, but I didn't know. I really never listened to them, and I listened to the first album, and it's really, really good.
Yeah.
And I was actually listening to the second album a little bit today too, and that's also really good. So I'll probably listen to more after this, but that being said, all of my lyrics came from the first album because that's really all I knew. It's weird. They're one of those bands that like you ever have those bands where you just miss, where you're just like, fuck, why wasn't I listening to this before? Like, what happened? How did I just miss this? Like, I knew of them, and they were always a band that was like, I heard them mentioned with other bands like The Strokes and like, all those other indie revival rock bands. Yeah. And they were always on my list to check out, but I never did. And I'm glad that I did.
Sometimes my friends and I will be like, damn, there was all this really good music in the early 2000s in New York. Why weren't we part of the scene? Why weren't we going to those music venues? Because we were in New York at the time. Were we lame? And then it's like, wait a minute, 2002, I was in 5th grade. Yeah. I'm not gonna, like, if I were going to like shows at like Webster Hall or like the Bowery Ballroom or whatever, like 5th grade, being like, love Interpol, favorite band, like that would be surprising and weird. So
it would be surprising, and also probably Child Protective Services would need to come if you were just at Bowery Ballroom by yourself in 2002.
Yeah, I'm like, listen, this band LCD Sound System is gonna pop off. Come at me, Child Protective Services.
You're at like a Brooklyn basement in Williamsburg.
So the thing about Interpol is I'm excited for this episode because they are kind of known for their absurd lyrics. And I will say that out of all the bands that we have covered so far, Interpol is a band where I genuinely have no idea what their lyrics mean. No idea. They are, normally I listen to lyrics. Interpol, I kind of don't. I just like take the vibe of the song and like I catch a little bit here and there. And digging into the lyrics, the songs are wordy and they're absurd. I have no idea what they're about. I kind of think the lead singer and lyricist Paul Banks is like vaguely horny. That's like kind of all I know. Like that is clear. But other than that, I don't know what's going on.
Do you remember on Facebook when it used you used to be able to put like your mood?
Mm-hmm. Like feeling.
You think, happy. Feeling blank. Yeah. Do you think he just puts like feeling vaguely horny?
Yeah. I mean, do you disagree with that based on the lyrics?
No, I do. And what's funny is that there are quite a few bands that come to mind when you say, like, genuinely have no idea what these fucking lyrics mean. Modest Mouse was one of those bands for sure, where I was like, every lyric, I was like, what in the fuck is he talking about? I think sometimes maybe I'll sound really stupid for saying this because people are probably like, dude, we know what this means. But, like, Foo Fighters have a lot of lyrics where I'm just like... No idea. This is lost on me. Not like they're big, like Everlong, obviously, I know what it means, but like a lot of people are probably mad at me for saying that.
No, I mean, anyway. I think Modest Mouse, like Interpol, I just can't grasp the meaning behind their lyrics. Like Modest Mouse, I can, at least in like, there's songs where I'm like, yes, I understand what float on means. I understand what like a lot of these songs mean. But like Interpol, I'm just like, I'm lost. And we'll talk about the lyrics, obviously, in this podcast, and it'll be a trip. Before I just get into the meat of Interpol, I want to talk about, I was telling you before the podcast and you had a great reaction. So we paused the conversation to let the content nouns at home hear us. But Paul Banks, who is the lead singer of Interpol, has a side rap career.
Yes. So this is where we paused. Immediately you said that and I was like, no fucking way. I don't want to know anything about this until we hit record. So I cannot fucking believe that he would have a side rap project. Please tell me what this is.
So he, I think, at least has 3 albums. And so his rap name is simply... he's either... I think he just goes as Paul Banks. So he doesn't have a rap name.
Okay.
But, okay. So I will say... The review score on the Wikipedia page, Pitchfork gave it a 2. And they said that none of the tracks on this record are remotely salvageable. And the album
Dude, Pitchfork can be so fucking mean sometimes. That's just like so mean. Imagine like creating something and being like, I'm proud of this, proud enough to put it out into the world. And somebody just is like, not salvageable. Kill yourself is basically what they're saying.
I don't understand... Okay, so...
How many? Is it only one album?
It's a mixtape. I don't know if he sings, if he raps on it or if he just has other people rap on it and he does the background. Anyway, it's fine when indie rock bands and rock bands are also rappers. Like the Future Islands guy started out as a rapper and he has like a rap career and he's very talented and he's good at that. And it's like he like treats that with respect, right? Mm-hmm. I think the Black Keys, like Dan Auerbach, and I think they had like a record where they brought in a bunch of rappers and they clearly were like caring about it. The album title of this Paul Banks rap hip hop album makes me think he doesn't maybe treat rap with respect.
Oh no.
Sorry, with respect.
Oh no, what is it called?
So the album title of Paul Banks' 2013 hip hop mixtape is
I Hate Hip Hop.
Everybody on My Dick Like They Supposed to Be.
So is it a parody? Is it like, is he making fun of rap?
No, I don't think so. I don't know enough about this album. I need to listen to it. I'm sure people at home will be like, listen, Everybody on My Dick Like They Supposed to Be is a masterpiece that is maligned and was before its time. Oh, so he doesn't sing or rap.
Okay. So
and then other people do like verses. Anyway.
I wonder why he's never collaborated with the likes of Kanye West. Who are the rappers on the album then?
Oh man, you are making me dig.
Let it be known that I also have access to Google and the internet, and I am not looking it up.
Oh, LP's on it.
LP was on it? Oh shit.
Yeah, I think they're only anyway. So yeah, let's dig into this. But before we truly dig in, content hands at home. If you love the Lyric Boys podcast, or if you just like passively think it's like a passable podcast, and maybe you listen to it again, do me a favor and subscribe wherever you're listening to this podcast. You'll like hear about the podcast whenever it drops, and you won't miss an episode. And if you're like me, if you're like Stieglitz, you're filled with anxiety. So rest easy. You won't have to worry about having to dig out and find a podcast. It'll come to you. That is the beauty of subscribing. Stieglitz, tell them.
Do what the man says.
Thank you. All right. So without further ado, let's get in the meat of this podcast. Let's get to what you guys have signed up for. Let's get to our 10 Interpol lyrics. Stieglitz, are you ready for my first lyric?
I'm ready. Please hit me with that first lyric.
All right. So my first lyric is from the song Obstacle 1 off of Turn On the Bright Lights.
Yes.
So
where all of my songs come from too.
Yeah. So there's a couple lyrics in this that are funny to me, but the prime rib of lyrics and my favorite Interpol lyric in general is her stories are boring and stuff. She's always calling my bluff. I love it because her stories are boring and stuff is just a hilarious way to describe like someone just like either like falling out of love with someone or not being interested in someone. And it's like, why is this person not interesting? It's like, I don't know. Her stories are boring and stuff. Like, whatever.
It also sounds like maybe he wasn't interested in writing the song either.
He's like, and stuff is like a place filler for like, her stories are boring and like, we're not a good match for whatever reason.
Yeah. And I'm surprised the rest of the band wasn't like, hey man, you want to finish that lyric? And he's like, nah, it's done.
Stuff.
It's fine. Yeah, and stuff. Well, you get the idea.
Yeah.
And they're like, that's not very, it doesn't really paint a picture. And he's like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, it's just like, her stories are boring and stuff. Like, what more do I need to say? Like,
yeah. He's like, we've all been there before, right?
Her stories, they're boring.
Yeah. And they're like, do you want to elaborate? What kind of stories? What stories is she possibly telling that are boring? Like, went to the supermarket today?
I don't know her stories. It's there are people in my life in general that like I feel like whose answers to things are kind of like this, and you always have to like dig deeper to be like,
oh yes, dude. Yeah, the like if you say, I'm trying to think of like, I mean, there are so many people who I feel like you're like, come on, just I can extract a little bit more information out of you, please. Yeah. There's something else going on there. How did you become a famous lyricist if this is how you communicate?
Yeah. Like the other band members are like, do you want to say more? He's like, nah. Like, why are her stories boring? I don't know. Like, and what else?
And then you find out that like one of her stories included like a shootout with a crystal meth kingpin, and and they're like, you didn't say this, and he's like, to me it was just stuff. It's just stuff. I've heard it before. I've seen Breaking Bad.
I just don't know what other people have and stuff in their lyrics, so I do like that, because there are so many love songs and there's so many falling out of love songs. And there are so many songs like that are like, oh man, that babe can really move. She drives me crazy. And I love the idea that there would be like a song that's like, oh man, I love it when she looks at me and stuff is chill. You know what I'm saying, dog.
It's interesting because like doing this podcast, we've found, or at least I have found, that a lot of people who write lyrics are somehow okay with like after writing a lyric being like, that's it, I would like to cement this into my history. This is the line I want to be remembered for. I want it to be pressed onto vinyl, onto CD, and I want it to go out to millions of people in the world. That's it. And like, this is one of those lyrics where I'm like, this is what you want to be known for. Like this, her stories are boring and stuff. You want to print that on hundreds of thousands of copies of CDs and ship it out and sell it for $9.99.
It's also like, it's not a flattering look to Paul Banks, right? It's not really digging into this person. It's kind of, it's not, the audience members like probably more like, Paul, what are you talking about? Versus like, oh man, it sounds like this person's so difficult to deal with.
Yeah, it sounds like it doesn't make me want to like talk to this person either.
Yeah. So just quickly, 2 other lyrics from the song, and I won't give them much commentary. It's just very Interpol. Like the first lyric of the song is, I wish I could eat the salt off of your lost, faded lips. Weird way of just wanting to make out with someone. You want to eat the salt from their lips and gain sustenance, and that's what you want to do.
So disgusting. That's also such a hard turn from her stories are boring and stuff, because that is so specific.
It's also eating the salt. Like it just like it seems like that person's like spending a lot of time on those lips. Just like gonna make sure they got every like.
They've been making out for 48 hours. They are dehydrated. There's no moisture left, and he's like, now the fun begins.
In this economy, it makes sense, baby.
My first Interpol lyric is from the song "Say Hello to the Angels," off of the album "Turn on the Bright Lights." Which all of mine, I feel like I don't have to say that anymore, because that's the one.
Yeah.
So the lyric is, when I'm feeling lazy, it's probably because I'm saving all my energy to pick up when you move into my airspace. That is a savage attack.
It is.
It is so insulting. Again, we've now hit a theme in a lot of these artists where it's just like really good insults, and that's a really good insult. That is a poetic insult. It sounds like maybe his girlfriend is telling him that he's too lazy and like he needs to get a job or whatever, and this is what he says to her. Like what do you think her reaction is after that? Like how can you come back from you tell someone they're lazy, and he just is like, that's because I'm saving all my energy to pick up when you move into my fucking airspace. I'd
be like, honey, your phrasing and syntax is wild. Talk to me like a real person. But there's no coming back from that.
The word syntax in an argument.
Yeah. I also can imagine a teenage child saying this to their parent. Like their parents say something innocuous. True. It's like, oh, why are you so lazy today? Let's go. Why don't you help me make bread? And the teenager just looks up from the phone, and it's just like, maybe I'm lazy because I'm saving all my energy to pick up when you move into my airspace. Into my airspace.
Yeah,
is also just like
so brutal.
Yeah. Like, what is my airspace? It's like when you enter that, I'm just on alert. And I'm like, no, get out of here.
It does kind of seem like an angsty cartoon character, like like a Helga Pataki sort of would say that to her father, Big Bob, who sells
from Hey Arnold
on Hey
right?
Arnold. Yeah.
Okay.
Where he's like, if like I can definitely see her saying something like that. I don't think that I would have a retaliation, to be honest. Like if somebody told me that, I'd just be like, I guess we're done. I guess I'm never talking to you again because you have rendered me speechless and you clearly don't want me within 6 feet of you. Maybe this is his revelation. He's like Nostradamus and he's predicting COVID. And he's like, don't get into my airspace.
It's also, I can imagine the parent being like, this is why I knew it was a bad idea to send you to space camp. Now you're talking in all this stupid airspace metaphors.
They're like, that's not even what you learned. You didn't talk about people getting in your airs. You talked about like rocket ships and stuff and physics. You missed the point.
There's another lyric in the song that I wrote down too because I was considering is, this is a contest. This is a bracelet. This isn't no intervention. I don't know why those three things are there. It's a contest and it is a bracelet and it's not an intervention. Great. I'm playing 20 questions with a fucking confusing ass mystery man. I don't understand what's happening here.
Okay, so it's a contest. Yes. It's not a bracelet. Okay, my mind wasn't even going there, but thank you for that.
So,
Lucian, hit me with your second lyric.
My second Interpol lyric, wow, is not from Turn on the Bright Lights. It is from the album Our Love to Admire. And it is from the song Rest My Chemistry. So, I'll do it. I'll give it to you.
Go.
I haven't slept for 2 days. I've bathed in nothing but sweat. And I've made hallways scenes for things to regret. My friends, they come, and the lines, they go by. Tonight, I'm going to rest my chemistry. So, yeah, just the opening lyrics being, I haven't slept for 2 days. I've bathed in nothing but sweat is one of the most disgusting opening lines ever.
Disgusting, but also like, am I right? Am I right, fellas? Am I right? Pandemic right now happening. Like, how relatable? How relatable.
You guys
also
know when you bathe only in sweat. It's just like this person is going through night sweats. They're not sleeping. They're just a mess. And I don't want to encounter them.
Relatable. Can you do me a favor and say the word bathed?
Oh, I said bathed, but bathe.
Oh, okay.
Bathed.
One syllable.
Wow, all right.
Do you say bathed?
No, I bathe. Damn.
Tell me last night I
take showers in the morning, baby. So I can't play this dumbass game with you.
Okay. Anyway, I had to clear that up because there were definitely people listening like, what the fuck is he saying bathed for?
I just was reading it so slow. It was hard to say it in one syllable when I'm going that slow.
I've bathed in nothing but sweat. So, yeah, I mean, this is... gotta tell you, there are definitely days I've had in quarantine where I relate. Not necessarily this hard.
You're just sweating constantly and you're just like, well, who needs to take a shower? Because sweat is water, right? Fellas?
You just lick yourself off.
Yeah.
Hydrate it. Yeah, but it's also salty, so it'll dehydrate you.
Yeah. So also he's talking about like his friends, they come and the lines they go by. So they're doing a lot of lines of coke. Later in the song, I want to bring attention to the lyrics. I live my life in cocaine, just some rage and 3 kinds of yes. And I've made stairways, such scenes for things that I regret. So he's already said that he's made hallways scenes for things to regret. And now he's made stairways, such scenes for things to regret. And so this guy's living a life of a party. It's a nonstop bender. His friends are coming and going. He's wired. He's awake. He's sweating. What is he doing in hallways and stairways that are horrid, that are just embarrassing? For some reason, I conjure up. Okay.
Yeah. Go.
The image that is conjured in my mind, because my mind is fried, is the movie The Room, which is one of the worst movies of all time. Have you seen that movie?
One of the worst movies of all time. Probably the best, worst movie of all time. One
of the first scenes of that movie is just like the main character's wife having sex with the main character's best friend on a stairway. In a stairwell. I think of that. That's it.
For like an hour. It's so long, right? Isn't that like the longest sex scene? It's so fucking horrible.
But to me, I'm like... It's that kind of regret.
Yeah.
I just think of The Room and that cheesy ass soundtrack and those candles and that waterfall and just like that's clearly Paul Banks is talking about The Room, a movie that came out I think a year after this album.
I'm also really glad. I was going to say that I don't live in the same apartment complex as him, because I feel like coming home from a long day, you're working, you open the door and you in the stairwell and he's there just doing the most horrific things. He's like naked, sprawled out on coke. I don't know what,
I guess
taking a shit. Like it sounds like he's doing some horrific things. And I feel like maybe his landlord was called once or twice, like, hey, you got to take care of this guy.
Yeah. He's just like, he's just going crazy in the hallway. They're like, dude, just do it in your house. Do it in your house. We don't.
Yeah, you are right outside your apartment. If you go in, it's fine. When you're right outside your apartment, it becomes a fucking problem for us. Anyway.
Give the audience, Andrew, your second Interpol lyric.
My second Interpol lyric is from the song Roland.
Roland.
The song Roland. Another Bright Lights lyric. My best friend's a butcher. He has 16 knives. He carries them all over the town. At least he tries. Oh, look, it stopped snowing. My best friend's from Poland, and oh, he has a beard, but they caught him with his case in a public place. Now,
no idea.
This is the most squirrel brain thing I've ever fucking heard. It's like breaking it down, he's talking about his best friend's a butcher who has 16 knives. And then in the fucking middle of like describing this person, he just goes, oh, look, it stopped snowing. And then he hard pivots to another best friend who's from Poland, and oh, he has a beard. And they caught him with his case in a public place. He finished that little anecdote, but again, this is like another one of those lyrics where it's like, this is like what you've settled on. Like, how is the band like accepting? Like, is this the final draft? This is what we're going to be recording and pressing into 900,000 copies to send to Best Buys and Targets and Tower Records all across America?
So two things. Yeah. It just works. That's the thing. It's like, I don't question it because these lyrics are bizarre and I have no idea what they mean, but clearly it works. The way he sings these lyrics, the way it sounds on top of the music slaps, right? It's great.
Yeah.
And that's why when I listen to Interpol, I'm never like really digging into the lyrics like I am for other bands.
Mm-hmm.
So something's working there, right? It's like him just saying that her stories are boring and stuff. The way that's delivered in that song is fantastic. Like, it's great, and it makes me happy. But it's like when you step back and you're like, all right, what? It's also, this reminds me of like a little kid just telling a story in some way.
Oh, yeah.
It's like,
it is.
My best friend's a butcher, and he's got so many knives. Oh my God, it stopped snowing. And then I got this other friend from Poland. He's got a beard. Oh my God. And,
it's like amazing to him that this guy has a beard.
Yeah. And did I forget he has a beard? Oh my God, he's from Poland. Ugh.
It also is like, if you put it in that perspective, like a little kid telling their parents a story about their best friend, and their parents are like, oh, you made a new friend in school? And he's like, yeah, he has a beard. The parents are immediately like, what happened? This is problematic.
His name? Santa Claus.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I will say maybe he does that as a songwriter, because I know that I've written most songs that I write. I start with like bogus lyrics that are kind of nonsensical, just to like put a melody to something.
Yeah.
Like, I want to speak on the spoop-a-dop. And then like I'll have that sound in my head for so long and try and come up with real lyrics, like Paul McCartney did with Yesterday, where it was green eggs or not green. It was just
scrambled eggs. Baby,
scrambled
I love
eggs.
your legs.
Yeah. If Paul McCartney was the guy from Interpol, he would have just kept that.
He's like, it sounds good. I don't know if I can make it better.
Yeah.
The dude,
and it would not be.
I have the Bon Iver album behind me today, but he does that too, where he uses like placeholder, or he'll just like sing a melody, right? And then he'll like put words to that melody. But sometimes he'll just like leave made up words because he likes the sound of it. So you're listening to the lyrics and you're like, I don't know what this means. And you're like, what? You look it up, you're like, oh, it's because he made this word up. He just like the way it sounds.
You know who else did that? One William Shakespeare.
Coincidence?
Yes.
Okay, so my third Interpol lyric is from the song No I in Threesome off the album Our Love to Admire.
I've never heard this song before.
Like that being a song title is hilarious. It makes sense that the guy who wrote No I in Threesome also put out an album called Everybody on My Dick Like They're Supposed to Be. It like makes sense that would be like the same mind at work, right? So the lyrics are, babe, it's time. We give something new a try. Oh, alone we may fight. So let us be three tonight. Through the storms and the light, baby, you stood by my side. And life is wine. You feel the sweet breath of time. It's whispering its truth, not mine. There's no I in Threesome, and I am all for it.
You know, I gotta say, it sounds poetic. And I imagine him giving his girlfriend this as a proposal to have a threesome. And he's like, babe, I wrote you a poem. And she's like, oh, wow. And she starts reading the poem. And she's like, at the end, just puts it down and she goes, no.
Well, it's like he's thought about it for so long that it's like, it's like I gotta hide this amidst like other things. He's like burying the lead here.
Yeah, he really is. It's weird that he has these kinds of poetic lyrics about threesomes, but then he says shit like her stories are boring and stuff.
Yeah. Well, so there's a couple of things in this that are just so funny to me. Like if you just look at what he's saying to this person, right? Babe, it's time we give something new a try. All right. He's like sitting down. It's like we need to change something. It's something new. Okay. Yes, sure. What is the new thing? Oh, alone we may fight. Okay, so clearly they're fighting when it's just them two. So the person he's talking to is probably thinking, oh, maybe we need to talk about our communication. So let us be three tonight. Okay, so your solution for our fighting is to just boink another person together.
Yeah.
Great. Then he's like, through the storms and the light, baby, you stood by my side. Very nice message. Very beautiful. Thank you for saying that, honey. And life is wine. Okay, like we are just now doing like big metaphors about what life is, and apparently life is like wine. Okay, don't see where you're going with that. You feel the sweet breath of time. It's whispering its truth, not mine. There's no I in Threesome. That is so bizarre to me and so funny, because that's him basically saying time whispers its truth, and it's not my truth. Time wants us to have a threesome. It's time.
It's
and
God. It's God.
Fault.
God spoke to me. He said, let's have a threesome.
God spoke his truth, not mine. God
it also,
did.
This scenario to me, I'm picturing like a whole story in my head of like, she's like mad at him. She's like, listen, we need to talk right now. Okay. The other night we were out and your friend went up to my face and called me a bitch, and you didn't defend me. You let him call me a bitch. And I'm pissed about it because I feel like, you know, That's very rude. And
Okay.
I didn't like that. I didn't appreciate it at all. And he's like, look, I have the perfect solution. I know that this has been on your mind. And here's what I'm going to propose. You know that girl who was in the bar when he was calling you a bitch? Do you want to...
But it's time who is making this choice for me.
And yeah, well, me. she's like, what are you saying to me? And he's like, no, hear me out. You know the Bible, right? You know how God is always presenting himself in weird ways? Well, after my friend did such a heinous act, which I am sorry for, God came to me and said the only way to make up for it, is to have sex with that other hot girl in the bar. And we don't know the end of the story. Maybe she does.
Yeah, you just got to listen. All right, Stieglitz, give me your third Interpol lyric.
My third Interpol lyric is from the song Hands Away. And the lyric is, will you put my hands away? Will you be my man? Serve it up. Don't wait. Let's see about this ham. Another like squirrel brain moment.
Yep.
Of like, let's see about this ham just kind of comes out of nowhere.
And it's yeah. Once again, you listen to the song, it's delivered totally fine. Like you listen to it and you're just like, okay, cool, jam. But when you just say the lyrics and you're just like, wait a minute, what is happening? Why are you like needing to see about this ham in the middle of this hands away sort of, supposedly it's about bondage? I was reading about the lyrics genius.
Oh, is that what it is? Will you
and
put
they're
my
like,
hands
we gotta check the ham, okay? It's like,
well, because I was reading this lyric and I was like, where are his hands? What do you mean put my hands away? But he's saying to tie him up.
Tie me up, serve me up. But before that, okay, that ham has been in the oven a while and it better not overcook, because I don't eat no rubbery ham in this household.
It's like, tie me up, put me in leather chains, gag me, and feed me ham. That is my fetish.
Tie me up, put a gag in my mouth, make my ass red. But listen, I need to be done by dinner time. I eat on a very specific schedule.
Yeah. And I eat very specific meals.
Ham every night, every day. That's how I get so beautiful.
You know, there's that Rihanna song, Sticks and Stones May Break My Bones, but Chains and Whips Excite Me.
Oh, wow.
Okay. And then that's a way to describe bondage. And then there's this song, which is another very different way to describe it, right? So Rihanna is coming at it pragmatically, I think, right? Because
like
the chorus
very obvious about what it is.
Yeah, the chorus of this song, which is called S&M, is sex in the air, I don't care. I love the smell of it. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but chains and whips excite me. And then she's like tying up the guy from Interpol, and he's like, hell yeah, I'm with you all the way. Also ham, am I right? Ham.
It's like someone who's, you know, when you're kind of like stressed about something and it's just always in your mind, no matter the situation. Like this person's like planning for some big holiday meal and they're like, gotta get the ham. And something like, you know, the moment is right. Somehow it's become a big thing and they're just like, okay, this is fun, but don't forget about the ham. Do not forget about the ham.
Yeah. Or like, yeah, he's like in the middle of some insane kinky S&M shit. And he's like, this is not the safe word. This is not the safe word. I just don't let me forget about the ham. Don't let me forget about the ham. Okay. I just want to say that. Because if I don't say it now, I'm going to forget. If I don't say it now, I'm going to forget. I just want to make a note of it.
Hey, when you're a good cook, you're always thinking about the kitchen. You're always thinking about the...
I always think about that prosciutto.
Yeah.
All right. Are we on lyric 4 of yours?
Yes, we are, King. So my fourth lyric is from the song Leif, Erikson, off of the album Turn on the Bright Lights.
Oh, I think I have a lyric from this. Oh, no, I don't. I almost picked a lyric from the song.
And the lyric is, she swears I'm just prey for the female, Well then, hook me up and throw me baby cakes, because I like to get hooked. I just love this vibe. It is bizarre. Like baby cakes, there's so many strange things about this. So basically the first part is like she swears I'm just prey for the female. So this other woman out there is saying that the lead singer is basically putting himself out there to be like just to be available for women, and he doesn't really like, he's going to be used for sex basically in some way, right? Mm-hmm. And then his response is, well, if I'm going to be used for sex, well then hook me up and throw me baby cakes, because I like to get hooked. It is so amazing.
Sounds like another kind of bondage thing. Also, yeah, but baby cakes is one a hell of a choice to make there.
Yeah, it is. I could easily see this in a 1950s, like not actually in a 1950s movie, but that sort of voice.
James
or like,
Stewart, the Jimmy
I was thinking
Stewart,
like Jimmy Stewart saying it, or like a Cary Grant, or man, what is his name from Casablanca? Humphrey Bogart.
Yeah.
But I feel like you could probably do a better accent of any of those instead. But just the idea, it's like
I can't off the top of my head. I'd have to listen to them.
Yeah. I'm not even going to try because I'm awful at accents, but I just love it. I just love it. I just want an excuse in my life to say, well, then hook me up and throw me baby cakes, because I like to get hooked. Because
I think that
well,
that
hook
would
me
make
up. He says that twice. What does he want to be hooked up to? Like, if he's prey, does he want to be hooked to like a fishing line or what? And then he's like, because I like to get hooked.
I feel like this is one of those lines that he's trying to make into a phrase. Yes. And he says it in his life all the time, and like something happens, something goes wrong, and he's like, well, hook me up and throw me, am I right? And everybody in his life is like, stop saying that. It's never going to become a phrase. Stop.
I could also see this in another situation. Instead of like she swears I'm just prey for the female, it's like you're eating too many chicken wings at a bar, and your friends are like, Lucian, like, you're gonna fucking explode. You're eating so much chicken wings, like you are foaming at the mouth, you are crying, and I'm just like, they're like, you're gonna eat so much that you're going to explode, and I'm just like, well, hook me up and throw me baby cakes, because I like to get hooked.
Yeah, this is it does sound very drunken. It sounds like a guy who's just wasted. They're like, stop drinking, you can't have another beer, you're going to black out. It's like, hook me up and throw me, baby.
I also see this line being I feel like this line is missing a really long pronounced shushing in the beginning. I think it'd be like, should be like, shh, shh, shh. Well, then hook me up and throw me baby cakes, because I like to get hooked. We'll just say the line over and over again because it's too funny to me.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you're like drunk or high, and the thought you have in your head is like, this is profound, and it comes out like that.
It's like this could be someone's presidential slogan. Hook me up and throw me, because I like to get hooked.
Biden 2020. Hook me up and throw me. Let's see what they can say about that. Let's see what the Republicans can take from that. My next lyric, I guess it's number 4, right? Is from the song NYC, which, in case you guys don't know, stands for New York City. Ever been there? I have.
Heard of it.
The song is, the lyric is, the subway is a porno. The pavements, they are a mess. I know you've supported me for a long time. Somehow I'm not impressed. Kind of sounds like somebody like maybe from the Midwest, like their first impression of New York, and they like go down the subway and there's just like a half naked guy like laying like sprawled out on the floor, and the guy's like, so what do you think, New York? And he's like, this place is a porno. I can't believe it.
I think it, to me, sounds like my image of like a stereotypical student film with like voiceover being over shots of New York City.
Oh my
like,
God, yes.
The subway is a porno. Central Park is a porno. Times Square is a porno. Yeah.
It's our movie. It's our
Stieglitz and I made a movie, a minute long short that we're calling a movie, just to be clear.
We're actually calling it a film, okay? This is a film.
We made a film that was like a minute long parody of like really pretentious films about New York City. So it was Stieglitz in a suit holding some flowers, filmed in like with grainy 1990s like handheld camera style on the subway in Central Park in Times Square, and he had a very mournful look on his face, and the voiceover the whole time was just comparing his feelings, were just thoughts about his ass. So it's like the subway moves my body.
I gotta put that in my reel.
My ass. And it was just very pretentious and ridiculous. But this is what that reminds me of in some way. It's like subway, porno.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
It's like if you were like a person not from New York going to NYU film school for the first time. They're like, go make a movie about this city. Of course, you'd be like, this city is a porno, as you smoke your cigarette.
You would automatically turn French when you're in film school for 4 years.
You're like, this city
is a porno.
It's like, Joey, you're from friggin' Wisconsin. Why do you talk like this? The cheese curds, they turn my voice into this.
I don't understand your Americans and your porno subways, okay?
What? Yeah.
I'm artist. Where's my espresso? And they're like, that's not even close to... What accent is that? Are you trying to do a European? No, I changed since Wisconsin, man. I changed.
I do like...
The city has changed me.
I know you've supported me for a long time. Somehow I'm not impressed. It's a fun lyric. That's fun. I feel like you don't hear that very much. You don't hear often like, oh man, you've cared for me so much. You're there for me. But whatever. I don't care about that. You're boring and stuff.
Yeah. You know, I kind of like that because there's a lot of lyrics that are like, that are the opposite, where it's like, yes. I've supported you for so long, how can you leave me? I kind of like that this lyric is from the other perspective.
Yes,
of like,
me too.
Yeah, like I don't owe you anything. Like I don't fucking care. Like the person is like, but I paid for all this stuff. I took you to Broadway shows. I did this for you. I let you sleep on my couch. It's like, so I don't. What do you want from me? Yeah,
I like that too. I do like that vibe of it for sure.
Yeah, that is. It's different. It's also has nothing to do with the subway being a porno, but I like it.
Yes. If this were like another band, they'd be like, the subway is a porno. The man there has his genitalia out. The other man there has his genitalia out. I have my genitalia out. Yeah. Fade out. Movie over.
Yeah. It was a movie, Interpol, it doesn't quite go that way. It goes, the subway is a porno. Oh, my best friend's from Poland. Also, it stopped snowing. So
I'm torn between two lyrics as for my fifth and final Interpol lyric.
Oh, okay.
I'm torn. I am torn.
Okay, go. Do you want to just do both of them?
Let me do the lyric. Stella was a diver, and she's always down. From Turn on the Bright Lights.
Okay.
And what my favorite part about this is the opening lyric is Paul Banks going, this one's called Stella was a diver and she's always down. And he says it with a mouthful of ice, so he just sounds kind of funny. And I love that. It's just like an intro to any song. It's just like, this song is called My Generation. Like, there's something funny about that. To just like announce the title of your song. And it's also an insane song title.
This song is called 42069 Blaze It.
Blaze It. So the other lyrics of the song is, well, she was my catatonic sex toy love joy diver. Well, she was my catatonic sex toy love drug diver. She went down, 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 down there into the sea. Yeah, she went down, down, down there for me. Right on.
Right on, man. What is catatonic again?
I think it's like when you're kind of like, in my mind, it's like slightly similar to like comatose. Like you're in this state of just like very low energy, very kind of like in the stupor, in this sort of...
Okay. She's my catatonic sex toy, Lovejoy Diver. Well, something about this song is telling me maybe it's about a blowjob.
Something about that is saying it. Yes, for sure. But it's also... It's once again like, this is what I mean, like, Interpol's lyrics are confusing, but clearly he's vaguely horny in them, right? Like that, we've established that is confirmed based on all of the lyrics we've talked about.
Confirmed. Report confirms. The Lyric Boys have confirmed that Paul Banks is vaguely horny.
Yeah, so just like the fact, it's not a great metaphor. Stella was a diver and she's always down. That then, if considering it's about BJs, that's like a very aggressive song title.
Yeah, it could be about. I mean, the song title to me says more than just blowjob. It says like maybe it's about depression, or maybe it's like about like mania, how like you're up and down. But then the catatonic sex toy Lovejoy Diver, that's I think that has one meaning and one meaning only.
It's I think it's about a prostitute on drugs, the song in general. But I love the idea of receiving a card from your Valentine. Happy Valentine's Day at their Lyric Boy stands. We choose you this Valentine. Anyway, I love the idea of getting a card from your Valentine and you open it up and it's like, you are my catatonic sex toy, love drug diver. And I'm just like,
instead of
excuse me?
On those little like hearts, those Valentine, instead of be mine, it just says that.
Excuse me, how, in what world am I a Lovejoy Diver?
Lovejoy Diver, like Reverend Lovejoy from The Simpsons. You're very pious and holy, and that's what I'm singing about. It has nothing to do with sex.
It is interesting to call someone who like goes down on someone a Lovejoy Diver. That's clever, I guess. I've never heard that before, so points for originality. Paul Banks.
We are stretching the word clever here, but that is okay.
Yeah, because then it's not as clever to be like, yeah, she went down there for me. Right on. This ending with the right on is very funny because I imagine like a 70s man. 70s.
Yeah.
Like
giving a thumbs up.
Like, right on.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
like
got the
an
mustache.
American flag bandana and a mustache.
He fought in Nam and he's like, I deserve this. Right on.
Hoorah. Anyway, Andrew, give me...
It feels like it's time for my last lyric.
Your fifth and final Interpol lyric.
Yeah, my fifth lyric is from the song PDA, which might stand for Public Display of Affection. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But the lyric is, you're so cute when you're frustrated, dear. You're so cute when you're sedated, dear. That is problematic.
I love this song. This is Interpol's, I think, best song. And it slaps. But I love how... I was thinking about picking this lyric too, so I'm glad you did. You're so cute when you're frustrated, dear. It's so... Like, if hearing that would just, like, drive me friggin' crazy. If someone's like... If I'm annoyed at something, like, oh, you're so cute when you're annoyed. And I'll be like, motherfucker.
Yeah, it's
you're
very
so cute.
backhanded.
Yeah, you're so cute when you're frustrated, baby cakes. But also, the way dear is delivered in the song is very, like you said, backhanded. It's done in a sort of like prodding, poking way. It's like, dear. And it's not a good relationship for sure. I don't think any of these relationships in these songs are good. I don't think any of these are healthy, hashtag thriving.
Yeah, these are, and it's not just the like I loved and lost kind of relationship. It's like a passive aggressive, like everybody is just stabbing each other in the front and in the back, and It's not good. It's not the way that this guy tries to make up for shit is by proposing threesomes.
There is an Interpol lyric where he's talking about his lover being like, you go stabbing yourself in the neck again. So that is happening.
Oh, wow. I didn't even know that, but there we go. He clearly doesn't have any remorse or feelings. I think he's a sociopath.
I can say that. Another lyric in the song that I was thinking about picking too is another savage insult is, you are the only person who's completely certain there's nothing here to be into. And that is like such a savage line in my mind, like going out with someone and like going out to a bar, hanging out with friends, and that person is just like not having a good time. And it's like that boiling of frustration being like, you're the only person in the world who thinks there's nothing fun about tonight. Like, or like, it's like also that idea of like someone who's just not into anything, or like thinks it's kind of like cool to not be into anything or not like care about anything.
The sort of detachment from liking things.
So it's like everyone loves these bands or likes one of these movies or whatever. They are popular and you don't like anything. What is wrong with you?
Oh yeah. Those fucking people suck, man. Like, I feel like we got so much of that gonna shout it out again, but at BU there was so Boston much of University. That. Like, have you ever? And this happens to me. It happened to me a lot at BU, and it made me really upset when it happened. Have you ever showed somebody a band that you were really, really into, and you're like, oh, you're gonna love this band, they're so fucking good, listen to this, and you press play, and you can immediately feel the vibe of just like the person thinking like, this shit sucks, and then you're like, oh, so you don't like it? And they're like, no, and here's why, and they just like list reasons like, this is terrible. Because that's happened to me a number of times, and I've just like stopped showing people bands that I've liked because I was like, whatever, it's just gonna make me upset. Yeah,
that happens. I mean, I feel like I've probably been on both sides of that, to be honest, and I'm trying to not be on that. I like don't think I'm on that critical side anymore, but for sure I probably had done that in the past too, and that's douchey and annoying, and I apologize.
No, I mean, I've been on like the side of it where but like I try and recognize when I'm on that side to recognize like, all right, I don't want to hurt this person's feelings.
Yeah, exactly.
Just to be like, oh yeah, this, the most I'll say is that like, oh, it's not really my thing. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's
true.
But
that's like true.
It's like, it doesn't have to like, if someone plays me a super poppy, really happy, like keep my head held up high type pop song I just like that. I can appreciate why you like this and why this is good for you, but that's just never going to be my thing. That is never going to be
sure
what I like, and it's But other people are like, hell yeah, now I'm feeling swaggy and I'm gonna work and I'm gonna make some deals or whatever people do with jobs. Anyway.
Yeah, what do people do with jobs? It's been a while for me.
Wow, we did 10 Interpol lyrics, and audience at home, this is the best part of the podcast. This is the part where Andrew and I create and improvise our very own Interpol lyrics right on the spot. We're going to take about like 30 seconds. We're going to use our brains and we're going to come up with our own Interpol lyrics. So sleep tight.
This is another band where it's like, how are we going to, there's nothing like to go off of here.
Yeah. I'm just kind of like imagining the way their songs sound, which are like do 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 boom boom, which is not helpful.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Okay, this is the worst lyric I've ever written. Bad. It's the worst attempt.
I'm trying to put a big chorus in right now. Suddenly, I'm trying to like make more layers to the song. So give me 1 second.
Okay, mine are like in the true vein of Interpol style. It's meaningless nonsense.
All right, give me 1 second. All right, so my Interpol lyrics are very good and great. So I was clearly just like kind of ripping off PDA a little bit, but then I don't know. I'm struggling with how to deliver this, but hopefully this works. Here's my version of Interpol lyrics on the hit song BRB LOL JK.
Okay, I like it. I like that title already.
trying to think of the delivery because it's very fast, and like I think of that like. It's like has that driving rhythm, like sleep tight, Grimrod. We have 200 couches, or you know, it's very like
yeah.
So we'll see if that has that.
I haven't done that with mine. I usually try and do that. I have not done that with mine.
Behind the door is the door that leads to my bedroom. Oh, cocaine, Rogaine, going bald in a year or two, too tired, too wired, sleeping on the floor. This is my peak experience. Life is best without you. Our room, my room, washing myself in the sink again. Ballroom, ball pit, sinking into despair again. There you go.
You know what? I gotta say, I am impressed. I am impressed because I feel like you started reading those lyrics, and I was like, are these real Interpol lyrics? I swear to fucking God, I was like, this sounds like a real Interpol song. I am impressed. The last time you said that Matt Berninger would say that he put a Twizzler in his ass, and now we've made some progress.
That's what
Can you say it? Say it again. Say it again.
Before I do that, at least the Matt Berninger one, I was going for the joke. And then with Lord, I was just like shoehorning in the Monster Mash. So I'm like, okay, let me try to be less funny with this. Why don't you do yours, and then we'll do ours again. We'll say the name.
Okay. I just tried to throw in as much random shit as I could. So this is it's incoherent. All right, ready?
You start accidentally summoning like a lord from hell. Through your incoherent chanting, you bring the apocalypse.
It is. You were my ragtime jelly bean. Pop it in and feel that scene. Making monsters out of problems. Claustrophobic nightmare candles filling up Gotham. And Batman can't save you now. No, but maybe we can still have a threesome. Lucian has lost his fucking mind right now.
That is... You're my ragtime jelly bean. Makes me want to cry. With how funny
that was the first fucking thing that popped into my head, I swear to God. And I don't know what it means, but I was like, I feel like I could see it being a lyric.
Well, say if those are Interpol lyrics, well then hook me up and throw me baby cakes, because I like to get hooked.
I should make a song that has "You're My Ragtime Jelly Bean" on it.
You're my ragtime jelly bean. So, all right, we'll do them again. We'll say them again to the audience at home, I guess.
Yeah, let me hear yours one more time.
This is from my song LOL, JK, BRB, or whatever it said. It's a sad song of despair, clearly, in repetitive words. Behind the door is a door that leads to my bedroom. Oh, cocaine, Rogaine, going bald in a year or two. Too tired, too wired, sleeping on the floor. This is my peak experience. Life is best without you. Our room, my room, washing myself in the sink again. Ballroom, ball pit, sinking into despair again. Boom.
It definitely paints a picture, first of all. It paints a picture of a broken, aging man who is resisting that age but still has to come to terms with it. He's partying, right? But he's going bald. He's getting older. He's washing himself in the sink because he can't bring himself to take a shower, right? I like that. I love the imagery. This could also be an Idols lyric too. I feel like Idols.
Washing yourself, yeah.
Idols would have like cocaine, Rogaine, pissed in the kitchen sink again.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Paul Banks, hit me up on the internet. If you want to write a song about being sad and aging and falling asleep on the floor instead of your bed and sleeping and washing yourself in a sink and
Or ragtime jelly beans, if you want to.
Right, give me your lyric again.
All right. You were my ragtime jelly bean. Pop it in and feel that scene. Making monsters out of problems. Claustrophobic nightmare candles. Filling up Gotham. And Batman can't save you now. No, but maybe we can still have a threesome.
This kind of sounds like a really bad 2020 type television show or Investigation Discovery. Like the narrator's like, what was the candles line?
Claustrophobic nightmare candles.
Claustrophobic nightmare candles filling up Gotham, and Batman can't save you now. And that is the story of how these two former beauty queen twins were slaughtered by a school teacher.
Tonight on Unsolved Mysteries, claustrophobic nightmare candles.
And you're like, oh wow, it's just like that type of that type of just language. Batman can't save you now.
yeah. 2 girls gone missing. Batman can't save you now.
It's like, wow, you're really undercutting the severity of these incidents with these catchphrases you've created.
Investigation Discovery canceled after 30 years for insensitive remarks against 2 girls who went missing.
But were later found that afternoon.
Yeah. Narrator fired from VO job forever.
Hey, if you enjoyed this podcast, if you enjoyed this deep lyrical analysis into Interpol and everything you've learned today, if it was meaningful to you, if you had fun, if you shed a single tear of happiness and or despair, do me a favor and subscribe to the Lyric Boys podcast. We love that. It fills our life. Okay, I'll say this. If you want to subscribe to the Lyric Boys podcast, well then hook me up and throw me baby cakes, because I like to get hooked. And we want you to get hooked, baby cakes. And if you want to hook yourself up and throw yourself into the baby cakes hooks world, whatever that means, you can subscribe to the Lyric Boys podcast. And that's how you'll always get every episode on iTunes, Spotify, Overcast, wherever you listen to your podcasts. And hey, we are on social media. You just hit the @ symbol and you type in the Lyric Boys, and you'll find our Instagram and our Twitter and our Facebook. We're also on YouTube, and you can watch our podcast there. You can see our faces. You could put image to the magic in your ears. And that's it. I'm tired and I don't know what to do. I'm going to go wash myself in the sink. What are you going to go do, Stieglitz?
I'm going to go to Freelancer NY. .bandcamp.com, because I like the song that's playing underneath here.
You mean this one that objectively slaps?
Yes, I like it, and coincidentally I also made it. That being said,
wow.
Freelancer, my musical project. I'm the king of transitions. I'm the absolute
That was a good transition. I was very proud.
Freelancer, my musical project, is something that I do sometimes. Anyway, if you like it, go listen to it. I will never be hired by anybody to make a promo for anything.
Amazing. All right, you ragtime jelly beans. It's time we go home. So have a good, safe trip to bed. I don't know what to say. Good night and good luck.
Wow. Couldn't have said it better myself.